Alright, so in this one, we're going to be taking a look at Genos' current upgrades in the manga. We're going to be breaking it down, explaining it, and looking at the projected potential of it. So this is the upgrades or the form that he receives after he just completely wrecked himself trying to take out Elder Centipede. And also, this form is completely exclusive and unique to the manga. He does not receive this at any point during the webcomic, so at this point it's really a complete unknown to us, but we can kind of speculate, and given the context clues that we have, kind of come up with a rough answer of what it's all about. Also, I call it Daedric Genos, and that's because it kind of resembles the Daedric armor from Skyrim, at least to me. You can really call it whatever you want because we never really get an official name on these forms from Genos. We've kind of just been giving him fan names, like, with G4 Genos, that was because he received the upgrades from the G4 robot. And then after that, it was EC Genos, or Elder Centipede Genos, and that's because he was prominently displayed taking on Elder Centipede. So let's just set the scale for this form immediately, because Genos says himself that this is the most powerful he has ever been. So that's just putting it out there that it's going to be greater than G4 and his EC forms. But the powerful line here is kind of ambiguous, and I'll go into why that is later. But let's go over all of the exposition that Dr. Kuseno gives us about this form. So he says, the upgrade this time is a tad too reckless. This configuration is all offense without any balancing factor. I drove up the mechanical power as much as the armoring would allow. And that means you'll have to battle while carefully controlling your own strength. If you go all out, you'll exceed the operational conditions that the components can endure and they will break. Doing that is truly a last resort. And even if you decide to do it, there's the question of how to make the most out of it. The time limit is only 10 seconds. So Kuseno does go on to say more, but let's just take a look at and break down this initial exposition dump that we're getting here. So first of all, we're seeing that the configuration is all offense. There is no balancing factor to this form. So what does that mean? Well, we can kind of take a guess in assuming that there is no defense to this, meaning that his armor probably isn't all that powerful. And that's kind of sus because, that's been one of Genos' weaknesses. Now, I'm not one of those people that say that Genos was a weakling or he was very brittle or he didn't have good durability. Because if you kind of look back on it, he did have good durability. It's just that him being a cyborg kind of making him more susceptible to breaking than what a humanoid form would. I mean, for example, Garo ripped his friggin' arm off. In his EC form. Now, of course, that was a device to set up Genos trapping him, but still, he did do it. So does that mean that, this form is even less durable than that? Just based off of the context clues we've got here, I'm going to assume that that's likely the case because he doesn't say anything about defense and there is no balancing factor. But the offense is pretty significant, so what does that mean? Well, we don't exactly know at this point. I'm going to assume that he's talking about firepower and not so much strength. Now, of course, it still could be strength because that would be awesome because it was originally established by Garo that just in his EC form, he was already as strong as Tank Top Master. So if this form, meaning the offense, has accommodated for strength as well, that means he's stronger than Tank Top Master, which is already exceptionally strong, which means that we could possibly see some kind of strength or power similar to that of Darkshine, maybe. Not saying he will be as powerful as him, of course, but it could be close to that. If he is all-out offense, there is no balancing factor. Now, the strength factor remains to be seen, but I can tell you for sure that he will have some serious firepower, and that's because Murata actually showed us what it's going to look like. So last year on one of his streams, he drew a rough draft of what Genos' new hand blasters are going to look like. So rather than him just having that inherent circle cannon on his hands that he always used to have, his hands are now going to open up, making a claw mouth type thing. So I'm going to assume this is going to be his main method of attack with this. With the whole offense, no balancing factor. So he's probably going to have the most powerful blasts he's ever had. So if we're going up from G4, as we saw when he was going against Sonic, those blasts were already ridiculous. They were blowing up like a good building-sized portion of the area that it affected. And then if we're going to EC, then that was even greater firepower. I don't really take the jet drive arrow into consideration, even though that was a magnificent feat of power. That was more so him like thrusting into EC, you know what I mean? But, you know, regardless, the power was there. So if we're going up from that, then this is really going to be like Vaccine Man level stuff, maybe Homeless Emperor stuff, maybe even above that. Now, another thing to question is Genos' speed in this form. Now, does the offense mean that speed is grouped into there, or does the non-balancing factor mean that it's all offense, no defense, and no speed, and no agility possibly too? You know, it's kind of hard to say, but if he is getting an upgrade in speed here, then that's ridiculous, because when he was in his G4 form, he was already rivaling the speed of Sonic. When he was in his EC form, he seemed to be just as fast as that. You know, Garo was barely able to keep up with him, you know, more or less. But if he's going faster than that, then that's going to be insane. He's going to be probably faster than Sonic there. Maybe he's like approaching Drive Knight or Neon type levels of speed. Possibly, but I don't know. I'm kind of doubting that because of the whole offense-only thing. Although it could, you know, group in speed. And that goes back to the line about if you go all out, you'll exceed the operational conditions that the components can endure and they will break. So does that mean from physical movement, or does that mean from, like, blasting the huge blast out of his hands? If he goes over that, will it just break his body, or will moving break it? You know, it's hard to say. We can only speculate for now. But let's go further, because Kuseno goes on to say that your own body may not be able to endure it. If the energy core explodes, you'll end up losing your life, cyborg or not. Listen well, Genos. Do not use your full power for more than 10 seconds, because if you do, you'll be lost. So I think this is like a Chekhov's gun moment. If not this, then definitely the 10 seconds thing. We're going to see this for sure. We're going to see Genos use his full power, and he's likely going to go to 10 seconds, or maybe he even goes above it, and then we get like a pseudo-death scare. I don't think Genos is going to die here. I'm not spoiling anything, because like I said, Genos does not have this in the webcomics, so anything is fair game at this point. Genos could very likely die, and then we're going to get this huge big plot twist in the middle of this arc, or towards the end of it possibly. But I'm going to say that he's probably safe for now, because Genos has come to the brink of death many times. I mean, like, many times so far. Especially, like, when we first were introduced to him against Mosquito Girl, so it could probably happen again. But when he goes to this full power, and he does it for 10 seconds, so is this like a full power blast? Is he getting like a Millennium Emperor Nova type thing from here? Like, is this both of his hands opening up, and he's doing a Kamehameha? The way that Brave Giant did, you know, piloted by Child Emperor, that would be incredible, but it would kind of be repetitive, you know, it would be more of the same. So maybe it's like a one-handed blast, maybe it's like a Big Bang, maybe it's like a Final Flash, or does this full power thing make him like a mini Boros? You know, does it buff all of his stats, and then he's just able to move as fast as Flashy Flash, and he's as strong as Darkshine, but he's just able to do that for 10 seconds, and he just tries to wreck anything and everyone that he can in that amount of time. That would be cool to see as well, but I'm thinking it more so goes to him probably shooting like a Kamehameha type blast. But more or less, this really strikes me as Genos just being more of a glass cannon than he's ever been. Like, it really remains to be seen what else he could do besides just having ultra-powerful blasts. Like, he's essentially just a better version of Homeless Emperor, I guess. I mean, I hope that he's mobile. I hope that he has strength, too, which he probably will. But other than that, it seems like the first good shot landed on him, he's going to go down. Or he's going to take himself out before they even get the chance, you know, with this whole 10-second thing. So let me finish this one off with saying what I think Genos' disaster level in this form is, like how strong he probably realistically is. So he says, like I said, that he is as powerful as he has ever been, meaning that he is for sure stronger than his EC form, at least from a firepower standpoint. So I kind of scaled EC Genos to be like above Demon. I mean, the performance that he did against Garo, the performance against Elder Centipede, pretty impressive. The firepower, the feats, I mean, it's definitely something that a high demon could do, but man, it's kind of crossing over into that fringe dragon territory, although he just wasn't quite there yet. So if he is more powerful than that, which he says he is, then I guess he's definitely got to be in dragon territory at this point. And when he goes into his 10-second mode, he's probably like mid to high dragon, honestly, at least just for one attack. I mean, if Brave Giant can do the Millennium Emperor Nova, and it seems like Genos can probably replicate something like that, then he's got to be up there in the Dragon Leagues for sure. I mean, if Homeless Emperor is a dragon with just his abilities, and it doesn't really seem like he has anything else besides like heightened reflexes, then we gotta assume that this Genos is finally a dragon, which means that Genos will probably defeat a dragon in this arc. I mean, he can't just go out like he always has before. I think he's finally going to get his big win in this form. Probably at the cost of himself. Probably pushing him closer to death than he's ever been, for sure. But we might see Genos take out a cadre. Like, I don't think it's too unrealistic to think that. I mean, he's got to get something. And like I said, this form is new to the manga. And I think it's new for a reason. Because he's finally going to get his big win. Or at least I really hope he does. But that's pretty much it for this one. Let me know what you think about Daedric Genos. What do you call him? Or how powerful do you think he is? Do you think he has strength and speed? Do you think that he has no defense as well? Do you think he's going to do like a Millennium Emperor Nova thing? Let me know. And if you liked it, please give it a like, guys. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.